Right now in Washington, D.C., a dramatic and unprecedented scene is unfolding at the headquarters of the recently dismantled U.S. Agency for International Development. Fired aid workers are arriving in waves, given just 15 minutes within a designated hour to collect their belongings before being forced out. The mood, tense, emotional, uncertain. This follows a major Supreme Court ruling that handed the Trump administration a temporary victory, pausing a $2 billion court-ordered payment to foreign aid contractors. The impact? Immediate. The fallout? Massive. This is not just another round of government layoffs. This is a seismic shift in federal operations, with ripple effects being felt across the country and beyond. USAID workers, some of whom have dedicated their lives to humanitarian missions, are now packing up their offices under the watchful eye of security. The dismantling of USAID represents not just a political move, but a fundamental shift in how the U.S. approaches global aid and development, potentially leaving millions who depend on its services in limbo. CNN's Arlette Saenz is on the ground, witnessing firsthand the raw emotions and frustration as these workers leave their jobs, some without so much as an exit interview. Among them, Julianne Alford, a participant in the now terminated Presidential Management Fellows Program, describes the experience as horrible. There's been little to no communication. One day we were locked out of the building, the next we were put on administrative leave. It's heartbreaking, she says, seeing our projects, providing vaccines for children, delivering food aid, being discarded like they meant nothing. It's devastating, and she's not alone. Hundreds of workers are facing similar fates, many of them blindsided by the abrupt decision to shut down the agency. On Sunday, roughly 2,000 staffers were laid off. Others were placed on indefinite administrative leave, their futures uncertain. Many aid projects that were mid-implementation have now ground to a halt, leaving critical services in limbo. Some of these projects include life-saving medical programs in war-torn regions, infrastructure rebuilding efforts in disaster-stricken nations, and emergency food distribution channels that support millions of vulnerable people globally. The dismantling of these programs threatens to reverse years of progress, with potential humanitarian crises on the horizon. The Trump administration has made no secret of its plans to slash federal agencies and overhaul the government. But this latest move, stripping USAID of its ability to operate, marks a bold and controversial step. Even with legal battles looming, the damage is already being done. Thousands of employees are now out of work, while American diplomatic relationships with key allies may also suffer due to the sudden withdrawal of aid commitments. Chief Justice John Roberts' emergency stay on the $2 billion payout has given Trump's team the breathing room they needed to push forward with their agenda. And critics are warning that this is just the beginning. There are growing concerns that other agencies may face similar cuts, and that the restructuring of foreign aid is part of a larger long-term shift toward isolationism in U.S. foreign policy. This is the first step in dismantling the federal government as we know it, says political analyst Mark Preston. Not everything Trump wants to do will succeed, but this appears to be working. Meanwhile, in another high-profile moment, Elon Musk made a surprise appearance at Trump's first cabinet meeting, a move that is raising eyebrows across the political spectrum. While not a cabinet member himself, Musk was met with cheers and applause, with Trump even jokingly challenging his team. Is anyone unhappy? We'll throw them out. The message was clear. Fall in line or find yourself on the outside. This kind of power play is becoming a signature move in Trump's second term, and the effects are rippling outward. The merging of corporate and political power at this level is almost unprecedented, with Musk's presence symbolizing a deeper shift in government priorities. With Musk already deeply involved in defense contracts, AI development, and space exploration, his alignment with Trump raises questions about the growing influence of billionaires in shaping national policy. As protests erupt in D.C., backlash is mounting in Congress as well. Republican lawmakers are feeling the heat, with constituents demanding answers about mass firings and abrupt funding cuts. In Virginia, voters confronted Congressman Rob Whitman's office, demanding explanations. Instead of facing the public himself, Whitman's staffers took the heat, leaving many frustrated. "This is reckless," said one former government employee. Mass firings without assessing the needs of the American people will cost taxpayers more in the long run. We're already seeing service delays. Try going to the Social Security office right now. No one's there. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, however, downplayed the outrage, claiming that many of the protesters were paid operatives rather than genuine constituents. But that explanation is falling flat. Democratic Congressman Jason Crow from Colorado isn't buying it either. These aren't paid protesters. These are real people hurting from real decisions, he says. Republicans in Congress can ignore them, but they aren't going away. Crow, unlike some of his Republican colleagues, is holding a town hall to directly address his constituents. People deserve answers. They may not always agree with you, but they should at least know where you stand. If you refuse to listen, there will be consequences, sooner rather than later. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. This moment is defining Trump's second term. His administration is moving fast, reshaping the government in ways that will have lasting impacts. The question is, what's next? And how far will it go? With agencies being gutted, policies shifting, and power consolidating among a select few, the future of U.S. governance hangs in the balance. Will Congress push back, or is this the new normal? So what happens next? USAID may be gone, but this is just the first domino to fall. Will more agencies be dismantled? Will these cuts actually save taxpayer money, or will they create more problems than they solve? And how will Trump's allies in Congress navigate the growing frustration among voters? One thing is clear, this is far from over. We'll be tracking every twist and turn, so stay tuned. Let us know what you think in the comments. Are these cuts necessary, or is this a dangerous precedent? Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the biggest stories shaping our country.